All right, people. So, hello, everybody. My name, of course, is Jason, which is the translation in Hellenic is Iason, which means the healer. And this is the 10-minute podcast, and this is the 7th episode. And today, and of course, 7 is my favorite number. So today, of course, I have one of my favorite influencers from back in the day. And he's not going to share his name yet for now, because it's going to be in an answer of his soon. So this format for everybody listening is 9 questions, and every question is 60 seconds. So you have 60 seconds to answer, my friend, and after the timer ends, you have to stop. That's the game, and very short and very fast, and I think a little bit entertaining too. So let's start with the first question, which is, who are you? Where do you live? And what is the field of your endeavor? So what basically are you doing? And the timer starts right now.
My name is Dr. Kelly Starrett. I am a coach and physical therapist. I live in Northern California, just north of San Francisco. And the thing that I study and am obsessed with, the thing that my family and I work on in our business called the Ready State, is all about trying to reduce human suffering, explicitly through physical suffering. So can we teach people how to take care of their bodies? Can we show people how to self-soothe? Can we give people better tools to feel better in their day-to-day? Can we make them more durable? How do we take everything we've learned through modern strength and conditioning, the best practices around nutrition and movement, and give that to people so they can be in charge of their lives? Boom, 15 seconds to go.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. How did you know the timer? Anyways, I'm not asking.
Live by the clock, die by the clock.
Oh my God, Jesus. So, all right, let's go to the second question then, Kelly. Is stretching something mandatory for everybody, or is it just something useful or only for an athlete or somebody who is injured? So you have 1 minute to answer the question.
So the first thing we should do is define what you mean by stretching. So I'm not sure what you mean. People don't know what they mean. So we start with a type 1 error when we discuss this conversation because we don't have a unifying field of clear definition. What is water? We understand what water is. We don't know what stretching is. So the question is, should I have full access to my range of motion? Yes. What are the tools to get there? Well, quote unquote, stretching may be part of that. Maybe mobilization, maybe massage is a form of stretching. The second aspect of that is that these tools can be very useful when people have pain, or we need to restore range of motion after injury or surgery. So the question is, yes, if you have access to your positions, but you're stiff or in pain, then you need to stretch. If you don't have access to your positions, maybe you need to stretch. So let's expand on the definition of stretching.
All right. Again, you didn't miss the timer, and thank you for clarifying, because that's why you're here, and it's your position and your expertise to clarify the things. So let's go to the third question then. What is your opinion, Kelly, on foam rollers, lacrosse balls, and flossing bands? So these 3, and the timer starts right now.
Well, the question is, how am I restoring my body's ability to do what it needs to do? How can I help my brain perceive and think differently or perceive what's going on with the tissues? How can I restore the mechanics locally or influence the local tissue physiology to change how my brain is functioning, whether that's giving it non-threatening input or downstream changing congestion, or restoring how tissues are sliding, or changing some neuromuscular dynamic like a trigger point. So all of those are valid tools if done appropriately. If you just lay on a roller and roll your IT band for 5 seconds, you'll experience 5 seconds of pain and no change. So all of these things are about tools, and the only magic is test and retest. Do I feel better, same, worse? Are my positions better? Did this allow me to access my shapes and express myself through movement more effectively?
Wow, you were just in time again. Thank you. Shit, I want you to be late at some point. But let's go to the fourth question then. So, what's your opinion about movement and about other natural movement coaching styles? I don't know if you know them. Do you know them?
Of course.
All right. So, what's your opinion about them and their methods? So, you have 1 minute to answer, Ken.
Well, the first thing that I'll say is that unless you have a personal friendship and experienced someone's coaching, it's really difficult to comment from the outside because you probably don't have the full perspective. So I've known Erwan for a decade, longer, and worked together. He's been on my podcast. I would consider us friends. And I would say that he's right. How we move and play and develop our movement capacities aren't as effective as we could be. We aren't moving through our environments and sort of eating the daily vitamins that we need to. Any natural movement piece should be an aspect of formal movement training, but also we probably need some formal movement training as well, because a lot of people live in urban environments and can't climb trees.
All right. Great answer. So let's go to the fifth question then. What is your opinion about Rafe Kelly? And the second part of the question is, why do you think is he looking like an ancient Greek philosopher like Socrates? Why is he looking like that? Is it a genetic thing? What's your opinion? So let's talk about Rafe. You have 1 minute to answer.
So once again, Rafe is a very old friend of mine. I knew Rafe and worked with Rafe when he was back in Seattle running Parkour Visions. So I've had the experience. He's coached at my gym. And what I'll say is that everyone who's in a strength and conditioning system or a fitness system or a movement system eventually comes to first principles. Do we feel safe? Are we in a tribe? Do we feel loved? How are we moving day to day? You know, is it machinic in the way we're training? And ultimately what you'll come back to is what's not important. Is sunlight important? Is nutrition important? Is movement and play important? And then it's just about sort of turning up and turning down the degrees about what you want to do. So I think Rafe is a great example of a person who is following the breadcrumbs back to truth, and everyone gets there eventually.
Right. You forgot to mention why is he looking like Socrates, but I'm going to send you.
I don't comment on the bodies of my male or female friends. It's a bad policy.
That's a good policy. All right.
Otherwise, you're going to comment on my body.
All right. So next question then. I don't know if you know David Weck, but if you know David Weck and his work method, what is your opinion about him and the methods that he's using and promoting? So you have 1 minute to answer this, Kelly.
What I would say, again, just as a reminder, is that unless you've experienced and been taught formally and can see the whole system, the thing you're seeing in 15 seconds on TikTok is not the whole system. So make sure you understand what the intention is and understand the fundamental principles. I know David Weck, and we're friends, and I love so much of his teaching. And what I think, again, one of the things that we see is that in modern strength and conditioning, we're going to focus on work capacity or how much load versus how can I solve these problems? How can I create a movement language or a movement system in my own practice that allows me to go solve other problems? So it's easy to incorporate a lot of David's thinking and training into warm-ups and play downs and cool, but you're still going to need to be strong and fit. So I swing a heavy rope every day. So that's what I'd say about that.
All right. Next question then. So, based on your experience over the past 20 years, what changed in your view about mobility and stretching? So, as a younger man in your 20s and now in your, I guess, in your 40s, what changed? So, what are the critical changes in your mind and in your practice? So, you have 1 minute to answer.
The first thing to understand is no one was owning or talking about position. Everyone was talking about capacity. So if you were a swimmer and you couldn't access your swimming position, you did a lot of drills. If you were an Olympic lifter but couldn't access your Olympic lifting position, you did a lot of drills. But no one ever talked about restoring the tissue restriction. So we were really good at corrective exercises and skill transfer exercises. We weren't very good at position exercises. And one of the problems is that people really dissociated pain from inability to move. So basically we moved the way we could as long as we were getting stronger, and then when pain happened, we were like, we don't know why. Instead of looking at these position transfer exercises as means to improve and restore and maintain position. So one is that we realized no one was owning position, so we decided to move that in and make that part of what training is. And secondarily, we realized that we were able to unlock a lot of performance. So that changed. And
it's the coach and the athlete, not the physician.
Is responsible for that.
All right. You missed that one in the time alone, but
no, I was right on, and you started the clock at a weird time. I have a clock right here. I can see the clock.
Oh, really? Whatever, man. Whatever, to be honest. Let's go to the 8th question. So, what's your opinion about weekly massages? And also, the second part of the question is, what's your opinion about Theragun and all these machines that are vibratory and supposedly release muscle tension and all that stuff? So, 1 minute to answer, Kelly.
First of all, human beings have been touching human beings for forever. And so to forget how powerful therapeutic touch is a mistake. Look at the Indian tradition, Ayurvedic tradition, look at the Chinese tradition, look at the Thai tradition, Swedish. Everyone has been putting hands on someone else. The problem is, does that person know you? Do they have the contacts? Are they working on problems, or is this relaxation? So the first order of business is asking, why am I getting a massage? For relax, to feel good, to someone rub my head? That's fantastic. Does it scale? Can everyone get a massage once a week? Is that often enough, frequency enough? Is that what you're doing instead of doing everything else? But don't forget the power of human touch. It's very powerful. Second, any tool that someone can do themselves that makes themselves feel better or reduces their pain or allows them to move more freely is fair game. So all of these tools that like vibration, percussion can do a lot of creating a window where I want to move more or I can increase blood flow.
Or feel better.
That's how we think about them.
Are they magic or intention?
Come on, stop that.
All right. I have a Theragun. That's why I asked.
I think it's fantastic. And again, I'm interested in behavior. So we're going to expand this question for a second, because if I can give someone something like percussion and they're going to have some non-threatening input so that their body feels better at the end of the day sitting on the couch, and you're telling me that's bad, stop it. It's like telling someone don't eat too many strawberries. It's crazy.
I like strawberries, man. I don't know about you. I can eat plenty.
But you can't eat too many.
Yeah. And the last question for this podcast today is, let's say that you are Lord of USA. You are the dictator tomorrow.
Ooh.
And you have trillions of millions, tetratrillions, quadrillions of millions of dollars. And you can enact 10 rules for the populace that you think and that you will enforce them if you want to, and that you think that they will be helpful for their lives. So what would you do? What would you do, Kelly? You have 1 minute to answer.
It's actually pretty simple. First of all is that we would shape the environment to have better outcomes. We would create more walking paths, more spaces for people to gather, more local beer gardens. We'd give people a reason to belong to each other, not to be separate. The second thing I would do is spend all my money working on elementary school and middle school children. And the idea is if we could teach kids how to eat and how to farm and how to cook and how to play and take care of themselves, then we have a generation of people who don't get to a pandemic and learn that they don't know how to feed themselves or move or self-soothe, that they know how to meditate and manage stress and resolve. So we'd put all of the money into, that way eventually someone has a choice as an adult versus having to learn the lessons all over again.
Wow, I didn't expect that. It's great. I thought you would spend all the money to buy more strip clubs, create more strip clubs for the people. Don't
everyone
you care
needs,
for the people?
I know. Cocaine and strip clubs for everyone.
Yes. All right. All right then. So that was the 10-minute podcast. So thank you, Kelly, for stopping by. And so, where can people find you? What are your social media, and what are you doing right now with seminars and services and products and whatever?
We are at the ready state, trying to get people back into as ready and feeling as good as they can in their own lives. You can follow us on the socials at the ready state, on TikTok at the ready state, and also if you go to thereadystate.com, you can see our courses, you can see our books, you can see everything else that we're working on.
Excellent. All right, Kelly. So people, go subscribe, go check Kelly's things. I personally did that around a decade ago almost, and I'm very grateful that I did that step. And probably saved my hips and my knees. So thank you, Kelly, for that. And thanks for coming by. And people, enjoy this episode. Press the like button, press your comment button if there is one, and subscribe. And of course, see you in the next 8th episode of this 10-minute podcast. Bye-bye.